And a good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, the Flames go 4 for 4 over the weekend. Sussex and St. John's struggling in Junior B playoff action. And did McSorley get what he deserved? We'll discuss that and a whole lot more coming up in the next 30 minutes, so don't go far. And a good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy sitting solo for the next 30 minutes. It's nice to have you along. Certainly hope your week is getting off to a good start. And the weather, can't beat it with a stick. Hopefully spring is just around the corner for all you golf enthusiasts. Looks like it could be a few weeks before we get on the links, but not too far away now. Certainly hope you're ready to catch some great action here in the next 30 minutes. We've got some Flames highlights. We've got some high school hockey all-star highlights as well. And hoops. If you're a basketball fan, this past weekend, UNB was the place to be, and we've got all the highlights coming up, so you might want to set your VCR. We got some good shots for you to check out. First off, we start off with the St. John Flames. They went 4 for 4 over the weekend, beating the Worcester Ice Cats 5-4 in overtime on Friday night, and then the Lowell Lock Monsters came into town, and the Flames were set to play host as they pretty much wrap up this long homestand that they've been enjoying over the month of February, and the Flames were ready to retake sole possession of first place in the AHL's Atlantic Division. With the highlights from Saturday night's game, we send it over to Earl Smith.
A happy night at Harbor Station as the St. John Flames meet the Lowell Lock Monster. Here with the details is Aaron Kennedy.
Sharon against Graton on the draw. We expected to see Sharon here with the Leafs on Wednesday. He was actually here, but he didn't play after the trade. We've got a fight, Maxwell and Shelley. This is not unexpected behavior from either player, and Maxwell tried to land a punch, but Shelley just sort of pit bulled him to the ice, and Shelley lands on top, and that fight is over before any serious damage was done. So Jody Shelley mixing it up with Roger Maxwell here, and that's what Shelley has to do to be effective. Last night, Jody Shelley took 4 minor penalties. And here's McLean. He's got Tkachuk 2-on-1, penalty over. McLean moving in, backhand. That one went up, bounced off the top of the net, and then ended up in behind the goal. McLean controlling down low. He's been snake bitten of late. Centers, Tkachuk, the shot, scores! Flames with a high number of shots on goal for the second consecutive night. They had 49 shots last night. And there's a goal right off the face-off, a point shot by Rich Brennan. There was traffic in front. Laroque did not see it, and it went shelf. And this game is tied at 1 on a goal that can only be described as somewhat fluky. Fata flipping it back for Botterill, moving in down the left side all alone. Shot off the post. He'll feed it ahead for Bégin. Bégin carries into the Lowell zone. Bégin still with it. Backhands it in front. They score! Here's Graton stealing it from Brennan, feeding it ahead for Fata. In a foot race with McIsaac moving in. Shot saved by Scott. Quick whistle, or was there? I believe there was. And now Fata gets jumped by Brennan, and that'll create havoc in the corners. Brennan is on top of Fata trying to pound away, and every player on the ice is in there. And it's Sheptak and Odette. Not Sheptak, that must be Sorokin. 44, not 14, that is in there pounding away. But it was a quick whistle, and the puck was free. And then Brennan just grabbed Fata, dragged him down, and started pounding on him. It creates a 2-on-1. Bégin has Petrovicki with him. Bégin moving in. Shot. That one's wide on the stick side. Sorokin will hold in for McLean. Shot. Scott the save. Rebound. They score! We've got to fight Jody Shelley and Roger Maxwell, the second time they've met in the game. And Shelley wrestles Maxwell to the ice for a second time. That's Shelley's first shift in a long time, but Maxwell getting a little more ice time here in the third, and Shelley comes off the bench, knows his role, and gets the job done.
Team played great in front of me, and it's such a relief to get my first win here in St. John.
Yes, I'm sure it is. You didn't have a lot of work tonight, only 19 or 20 shots, but there were some really tough chances.
Yeah, I felt, like I said, the team played great and limited the other team chances. They maybe had 2 or 3 good scoring chances, and one of them went in, and the rest I stopped.
Yeah, about the 6-minute mark of the third period, you were lying on your back, and you managed somehow to deflect the puck with your stick, and then the Flames went down and scored. That was the turning point in the game, I thought.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. You know, work as a goalie, it's part of my job, I guess, to make those kind of saves, and just hope that the team could go back the other end and put one in.
And that's exactly what happened. Were you nervous at all when they called for a measurement of your stick in the last minute and a half of the game?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I got my stick measured here by Jamie, and it was, you know, I got it checked about a week ago, and everything was fine, but I wasn't sure if that was a stick I got measured, and but they're all the same, and I was still nervous. I was really nervous, I guess, because, you know, we have fines for that, and I'm just happy that it was legal.
I'm really pleased with the effort. I mean, this is 3 or 4 games in a row we've played exceptional, where we've come out and we've played with a lot of emotion and enthusiasm. And tonight especially, I thought, I mean, we gave up 9 scoring chances, 20 shots. I mean, we played well on both ends of the rink. We possibly could have had more than 3 goals, but that's all we needed. And I mean, our guys deserve a lot of credit because they've put together 4 really solid hockey games in a row.
Sometimes there's not much skill and a lot of luck. Tonight there was a lot of skill and not much luck, I guess.
Well, it's just one of those things. Some nights it goes in, some nights it doesn't. Tonight we had a ton of great opportunities. Puck didn't go in as many times as we wanted it to. Some other night we might only have 25 shots and not that many great opportunities. We might get 5. That's just the way the game is. It's, as they say, it's a game of inches. That's the way it goes.
You're back to 500, and looks like you're in first place with Quebec losing. You must be pleased about that.
That's the biggest thing. Is this game was very important for us tonight. That was the thing that was first and foremost on our minds, was first place by ourselves, regardless of what happens with Quebec. And we're pretty happy about that. Obviously, we've got 3 more home games before we embark on a long 8-game road trip, but if we can ever pull off 3 more, we might be sitting in a pretty good position heading out on the road.
I think I just did what I try to do every night. I just try to work hard every shift, and I just happened to get lucky tonight. I got a couple lucky assists and one pretty nice one, but yeah, it was just a great effort, not just by my line, but by the whole team all weekend.
But you're really sticking your nose in there. You're along the boards and the corners. You're really playing well away from the puck and with the puck both.
Well, thanks very much, but that's a big part of my game, to stick with this team. I don't have nearly as much talent as probably any one of our forwards, so for me to even, you know, to be playing and to be in, you know, to be on a line every night, I definitely have to play that style of game, and I mean, just finally tonight I kind of got some points out of it.
But were you not a big scorer, a big point getter in the Junior and Western Hockey League?
Yeah, I was. I scored quite a few points, but I think it was kind of the same thing. In my first year, I didn't get a lot of points. I wasn't a great offensive threat, but I mean, maybe it's just something that's going to come now. And my role has definitely changed here. And you know, we've got, like I said, we got so many talented guys that you know, I'm the type of guy that has to stick my nose in every game, and I got to win faceoffs, and I got to kill penalties, and I got to, you know, like tonight, I played against their top line, and that's just my role's kind of changed. And hopefully later on in this year, as we move down to playoffs and into hopefully next season, I don't know where I'll be, but hopefully next year that you know, I can start scoring some more points. But for right now, I'm just trying to do the same type of things that myself, Beige, and Petrovicki did tonight, and let's just play hard and you know, do a good job in our own end, especially.
Brett McLean, #1 star, 3 big assists tonight. Congratulations, Brett.
Thanks very much.
That's the way it was Saturday night at Harbor Station. Earl Smith for Timeout.
And we say thank you very much to Earl Smith for that report from Harbor Station Saturday evening. The final score, once again, St. John Flames beat the Lowell Lock Monsters 3-1 and retake sole possession of first place in the AHL's Atlantic Division. Lowell and the Flames, as of right now, are tied for first place in the Atlantic Division. Quebec is slipping a little bit after a loss on Sunday, and Lowell suffered a setback on Sunday as well. So the Flames and Lowell are tied atop the Atlantic Division with 60 points, and Quebec now 3 points back with 57. And some good news for the Flames and the Flames fans. Jean-Sébastien Giguère is coming back to the Port City, so looks like they're going to have that #1 goaltender with a little bit more experience than Sean Mathiel. And looks like Mathiel is probably going to be the man to stick around and back up Jean-Sébastien Giguère. But it's going to be nice to have Giguère back between the pipes. And Chris Clark also reassigned to St. John from Calgary over the weekend. And what a difference it's been with Tommy Watt behind the bench. Not to take anything away from the job that Rick Vive's been doing behind the Flames bench all season long, but Tommy just seems to be able to help him out a little bit more on the defensive scheme and setting the lines up and trying to get the boys set when they get ready to go out on the ice. So a nice job to both Rick Vive and Tom Watt and the St. John Flames, who are playing well of late. And don't forget, next action for the Flames is coming up tomorrow night, 7:30 at Harbor Station, as they entertain the Hamilton Bulldogs. Should be interesting to see how that one turns out. Should make mention as well, Thomas Construction Junior B St. John team really behind the 8 ball heading into Game 3 tonight, as Stanley now leads that best-of-5 quarterfinal 2-0 following a 5-4 overtime victory on Saturday night. And they took Game 1 Friday night 6-3. Game time tonight in Stanley is set for 8 o'clock. So Thomas Construction will be looking to put up a fight before, hopefully, they don't have to bow out tonight in Stanley. This will be the 3rd straight season, if they do lose tonight, that St. John Thomas Construction has bowed out in the first round of the playoffs. On the other end of the scheme, Sussex Western Stars, not much better luck. They lost their opening game 3-2 to Woodstock. Now, Game 2 went Sunday night, but no result was phoned in. We didn't get a score, so we're not quite sure how that series holds up right now. But as we know right now, Woodstock leads 1 game tonight. Game 3 also goes tonight, but that game will be played in Woodstock. Bobby Allen, who is a correspondent here at TVNB, had a chance to take the TVNB cameras and microphones down to the LBR last Wednesday night for the high school AAA All-Star hockey game, and it was back and forth action. If you enjoy goals, you would have enjoyed this game. We send it over to Bob with some of the highlights from last Wednesday night.
Bob Allen here from the LBR, the City and District High School Hockey League All-Star. I'm joined along with Pat Kluche, coach of Harborview High School. Pat, coach tonight with boys on the bench. Tell us a little about the game tonight.
Well, in general, it was a great game. I think the boys, both teams, really enjoyed that game, and as us coaches, no complaints. I mean, it was great. You know, the coach, he's caliber of kids. You know, they played extremely well. They have a lot of talents here tonight, and I think they put a good show on.
Okay, Pat, you opened up your playoffs with KV. Tell us a little bit about that series. What do we expect there?
Well, KV has a real good team. It's going to be, it is a big challenge. I mean, our kids have a big challenge in front of them, and we know that they can meet the challenge. And hopefully Monday night, this at the Grand Bay, hopefully we're going to be able to meet that challenge and win and go on to the next game on Tuesday night.
It's a best of 3, am I right, Pat?
Yes, it is a best of 3, and so it's short. So hopefully, you know, win a game there and there, so we may have a chance, you know, to go on to the second round.
Well, I thought both teams really came out with a lot of passion for the game. I guess it was one of those type games that everybody seemed to enjoy what they're doing, whether it be the coaches behind the bench or the players on the ice. So I would definitely, I think that this here format worked out perfect.
Hey, some of your kids did a lot of the scoring tonight. Young Jamie King, maybe you give us a little thought on Jamie.
Jamie's a wealth of talent. Out there with other talented players, it just really brought him to the height of his game. I believe he had a couple goals and a helper. He was just one of those players that just a gem and just a pure talent and enjoyable to coach.
Okay, you're starting your City and Districts next Wednesday. You're at Face Harborview High School. Give us your thoughts on that, and what kind of game do we expect to see here?
Well, we're definitely going to be, to say that we have our work cut out for us is definitely an understatement. We are going through a rebuilding program this year, and we have a lot of young players. However, I think going against Harborview, they have a great team. We have a passionate team, and like I said, maybe our youth and youthful and passionate play may just earn us a spot in the finals.
Adam Todd, All-Star game here tonight. Come out in the short end tonight. Good hockey game. Give us your thoughts, Adam, on the game.
Well, I don't think it was really about the score. It's just getting some of the more talented players in the St. John area to play games, just have some fun. And, I mean, the score doesn't really mean a lot to us. Just we had some fun among our friends and made some new ones.
Okay, now you open up your playoffs tomorrow night against the Hampton Huskies. You face them all year. Maybe you can tell us a little bit of what kind of series we'll see there. It's only a best of 3, so.
They're a tough team. Anything can happen in a short series, but they're strong up front, strong defensively. They're hard hitting, and it should be a good series. Anything can happen.
You'll probably start Pat Carlson tomorrow night. Pat's carried the team all year. What do you think?
Pat's a great goaltender. I mean, he proved that out there tonight. Made some great saves in the second period for us there. He's a good choice. I mean, both our goaltenders played really well all season, but I mean, Pat's a little more experienced. He's been one of the best goaltenders in the league all season. So.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Bob Allen reporting from the LBR. Back to timeout, and Jim Hennessy at the studio.
And what a great game that was. We say thank you once again to Bob Allen for taking the time out to be over at the LBR last Wednesday night. 7-6 final, all kinds of goals, and really highlighting some of that great high school hockey talent that we have here in the city. Don't forget the playoffs get underway this Wednesday night, March the 1st. Games at the LBR. Games pretty much all around the metro area as the best of 5 quarterfinals get underway. So if you're driving by a rink and you see high school hockey on the billboard, make sure you drop in, because that was just a small sample and taste of what the high school boys can do when they strap on the blades and get out on the ice. Should make mention as well, AA high school hockey action, playoff action continues tonight as Rosse battles Minto. That game goes 7:30 at the KV Arena. Just to jump back to the St. John Flames for a second, with Jean-Sebastien Giguère being reassigned here to St. John, you're thinking to yourself, Grant Fuhr must be healthy again. Indeed, he is healthy again. He is the backup to Freddie Brathwaite right now. Whether Brian Sutter is going to play him, we're not quite sure, because Calgary's still in that fight for the 8th and final playoff spot. So they want to try to get into the playoffs. It's been a couple of years since they've done that. Freddie Brathwaite has been playing so well that you don't want to mix up the fold too much, but you want to get Grant Fuhr in there, and because he's been sitting idle for quite some time now, so you want to get him in there and get him some work in case you do have to use him. But Giguère gets called back down here. He'll get lots of work here. There's no worry about that. And every indication is that this is going to be Grant Fuhr's last season, so Giguère has to take heart that he might be back in there here in St. John, but I'm sure that come next season he will be the backup goaltender in Calgary. We got a whole lot more to talk about, so we hope that you don't go too far. Basketball action is on the way. And a good Monday evening. Welcome back into the second half of time out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy flying solo, Bruce McDonald on the road, and Barry Johnston. Well, we can excuse him because he's getting married in the fall, so he's being a busy boy trying to get ready for the new life with him and his new wife. So, Barry, we wish you and Rhonda all the best in your upcoming nuptials. We go back to hockey just for a moment here. I haven't got anybody to argue with, so I'll try to carry this conversation by myself, so bear with me. If you're a hockey fan, it's been the talk for the past week or so. The hit that Marty McSorley, or the slash, I should say, that Marty McSorley put on Donald Brashear last week in Vancouver. If you've seen the replay, you've seen the highlight, I'm sure, a dozen times at this point. You think about the career that Marty McSorley had. He played in Edmonton on those Stanley Cup winning teams, and he was the enforcer. He was the guy that was out there helping to protect Wayne Gretzky most of the time. He made the move with Wayne to L.A., and I mean, he's had a highlight, all-star, possibly a Hall of Fame career. And when it came down to a play like that where you see him pick up the hockey stick and with both hands, slash Brashear right across the face, and Brashear literally falling back and hitting his head on the ice. The blood was pouring out of his nose, and I don't want to get too graphic here because, like I said, I'm sure you've seen the highlights more than a dozen times at this point. Brashear is suffering from a major, massive concussion, and it's not quite sure when he might get back into the Canucks lineup. Marty McSorley has been given the rest of the season off, not by his, his own well-being. He wants to, the league just decided that he would have to sit out the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. It's looking doubtful as to whether or not the Boston Bruins are going to make the playoffs right now, but it's a sad statement to Marty McSorley's career, because he's not going to be remembered for the enforcer years in Edmonton or the Stanley Cup winning years in Edmonton or making the move to LA and helping to build up hockey in the United States along with Wayne Gretzky. He's going to be remembered for that slash. Now, McSorley went on record right after the game saying that, that's not what he intended to do. It wasn't an intentional hit. But you look at the tape and you see the way that, Brashear was skating by him and he just kind of picked up his stick and took a whack at him. It's hard to believe that he was intending to do anything else. He said in one clip and one comment that I heard that he was trying to start another fight with him because they had fought earlier in the game and Brashear really got the best of him, and he said he just wanted to go with him again to try to get the best of him that time. But, if you want to fight with somebody, two tough guys want to go at it, like Don Cherry says all the time, two tough guys want to drop the gloves and go at it, then skate out in front of them. Don't stand behind him and pick up your stick and take a whack at him, whether you meant to hit him here, or in the leg, or whatever the case might be. You want to go with this guy? No problem. Donald Brashear's a big, tough boy. Everybody will remember when he played with the Fredericton Canadians, he had no problem dropping the gloves on the best of times. And, I'm sure if he had skated out in front of him and dropped the gloves and said, okay, buddy, you won the first dance, now I want the rematch, I'm sure Brashear would have been more than happy to oblige him. But it's just a really sad state for hockey. And, the fans were throwing debris out on the ice as they were trying to get McSorley off the ice without this guy, something really happening to him. So it's just a sad commentary, it really is, on the game of hockey as they try to keep things alive in Canada and build momentum and roll into the year 2004 before they have to, their collective bargaining agreement with the players before they get back into that. So it's really a sad state for Marty McSorley. Whether or not he will be back next season, it's hard to say. A lot of people are saying at this point that his career is over, that he will not be back. But it's hard to say whether or not anybody would want to pick him up. It's hard to say whether Harry Sinden will re-sign him with the Boston Bruins. At this point, everything is up in the air. The only thing that we can hope for is that, McSorley moves on and gets on with his life or his career, and that Donald Brashear makes a healthy comeback, because, he was having just a career season with Vancouver, and, it was just sad to see him fall and hit his head on the ice the way that he did. So hopefully Brashear will be back in a Canucks uniform very soon. We switch our focus to basketball now. The ACAA games going on over the weekend at UNBSJ. TVNB had their cameras there. Don Ferguson, or I should say Terry Ferguson, was out there, and he's got all the highlights for us, so we'll send it over to Terry.
Hi, Terry Ferguson. With me is Susie Power, the head coach of UNBSJ Seawolves ladies team. That we just finished the game, Susie. It was a 68-67. It was a tough one.
Quite a game. Quite a game.
Yeah, I know that you're in the room afterwards for a bit. Anything special you said to the kids? I know they played really hard for you.
And that's basically what I told them. They gave everything they had. They did the things that we asked them to do. We made our run early. Mount St. Vincent made their run later. When the girls play that hard, and it's not the result we want, but the effort's there. So it just reward them for a good effort and try and forget about the loss. But it was exciting. It was a good game for the crowd, maybe.
No, I found it very entertaining upstairs when we were doing the game. It was coming down the wire. We thought it was going to come down the foul shots, and then I think it's Vicky Vianette come up with the 2-point shot. You had 11 seconds left there.
She had a very, very nice shot to finish, actually, because my girls played good defense the whole way down, and they didn't give her a good look, but, on the look she did have, she made the shot. So, she did what she had to do, and then our final possession with 11 seconds left, I think we got, we talked about what to do during the timeout, and we probably got a little bit too focused on what was said during the timeout rather than maybe, recognizing the opportunities that were there. But they tried, they fought, but it didn't bounce our way. And the game could have turned on any number of things throughout the 40 minutes, but we just needed that extra 20 seconds that we didn't get. But it was a good game.
I have Steve LeBlanc with me from UNBSJ Seawolves. Steve, tough loss. Last game of the season, the boys really came out and played their hearts out. What was your feelings and views on the game?
That's a tough team. They're well coached, and I felt their guys played with their hearts and left it all on the floor for the last game, which made me proud because we struggled over the years with everyone giving 100%, but the last game we all gave it all and we played as best we could. It's just a good team.
I have your buddy from St. Malachy's and here at UMB, Kurt. I know you have a question or so to ask him, so go right ahead.
I have a couple questions to ask you, Steve. You compared yourself to the likes of Bo Kimball, Kiki Vanderway, John Manton out on the basketball court, and today you really showed a lot of stuff out there. How did it feel, those final moments when you walked off the court? What do you feel you're leaving behind as a legacy at UMBSJ?
It was tear-jerking walking off the floor, but I kept it together, and I hope I'm just leaving to the other players a good work ethic and just always never give up in the final seconds.
Now, there was a couple kids, you were signing some autographs out there. If you could say one thing to the kids right now at home watching this on TV at 2 in the morning, if you could say one thing to leave, your parting words to the UMBSJ fans out there, what would they be?
Work hard, never give up, and no dreams too high to get.
And to Terry Ferguson, we say thank you once again for all that hard work out of UMBSJ over the weekend. Don't forget, if you want to see both of those games in their entirety, it's coming up tonight at 10 o'clock right here on TVNB. The women's matchup is first, followed by the men's matchup. 10 o'clock right here on TVNB. That's coming up tonight. One more basketball note to make note of. How about Vince Carter on Sunday? 51 points against the Phoenix Suns. If this guy is not the heir apparent to Michael Jordan, I don't know. The NBA is going to have to wait a long time to find somebody else. Slam dunk competition, he puts on the human highlight reel show. And then on Sunday, 51 points. That's a career high for him and a season high for any player in the NBA so far during the regular season. So to Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors, keep an eye on this guy. He is going to make some noise over the next few years. That's going to do it for us. I am on vacation for the next couple of weeks, so we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks' time, 7 o'clock Monday night, right here for Time Out here on TVNB. Have yourself a good week.
Follow the athletes, hear the crowd as we highlight the best of New Brunswick sports action on Primetime Sports, an action-packed leader exclusively on TVNB.
That's not hard.